was a very strong performance. I expect Sentinels to get the job done here. If they want an opportunity to still compete at this tournament, and I mean like go the distance, potentially playing in the grand finals, Sentinels have to win series against this Quadrant roster. My expectations are going to be that Sentinels get the job done. How impressive do they do it? We could learn a lot about how dominant the Sentinels team is going to be compared to the rest of the pack, as opposed to the Optic Gaming series we saw earlier.
Indeed, we got Gaskin jumping on that far part of the desk here. Lovely to have you with us, Dan. Looking at Sentinels right now, and obviously our lower third chemistry, it is very much a key factor for this team. And we've talked about, would they settle down, you know, post-qualifiers not going their way? Is LAN going to be the place that we see these guys find their feet? What did you make of their first showing against Optic?
I was pleasantly surprised, I must say. I was a little bit worried after seeing some results online, and maybe there's a little bit of shakiness here or there, but I think against an Optic Gaming roster that you'd expect to be polished coming into the first tournament, they actually showed up. They made it very difficult for Optic, and they took a map. And I will say, as we look at this series, I mean, game type-wise, it's very good for Sentinels. Spoiler alert, Quadrant are going to struggle here because Sentinels, the games they've got coming up, some of their best throughout the qualifiers.
Okay, I love that. I mean, we're going to see Sentinels obviously take the hit there in terms of the rotation.
Who not only have had to make a change, but now are looking at Sentinels on arguably one of the best series layouts they could have asked for.
Things like that are going to be so pivotal to showing me that, hey, the ball's rolling in the right direction.
I'm going to call it in. That's fine by me. Off screen. SOG and Ledge getting back-to-back kills, but Spartan answering right back over toward the bottom mid-side of the map, snatches up that free pulse, and now some excellent flank shots onto Sika, but Sika somehow stays alive.
Sika stays alive, but also a little surprising there how Spartan didn't expect the rest of the players to come out from elevator. You see that one last player over an elevator, you're not blocking those spawns. He exposed his back for that brief moment in time to potentially get punished from catwalk or from top elevator.
Well, that's the play that King Nick wanted to do. Spartan now gonna snatch that ball up with that grab. Come back over to Sentinel. Lethal slaying out right now. 11-8. King Nick still manning that ball time as well as Sentinels are moving into the end game. Just 10 seconds away. Spartan dropping the people's elbow quick. Sentinels looking unstoppable, but Quadrant are gonna steal that ball and try to play it off. Great rotation by them.
Great rotation by Quadrant indeed. Generally the position that Spartan was going to get control of, that catwalk, is very strong if your team already has the ball over at glass. However, as soon as your team loses that position, as soon as you lose the ball, you now are spawning the exact opposite corner across the map. So it's a fine, delicate balance. It can be the perfect setup, or it can be the perfect spawn trap for your team to get stuck in.
Slays they were looking for steal that ball, and now round number 1. Go to the boys in red. Sentinels taking the first
getting snagged, so that means they either need to get a little more control before they rotate the ball, or just rotate the ball a little faster.
Once again, Sentinel's able to get away with another camouflage. This is going to be a pivotal one as 257, no idea where he's coming from. Return to sender. Sparty drops a nasty double kill. He's not done. 3 go down here for Quadrant. Sparty got that dog in him.
That was so sick by Spartan the dog. 2 times back-to-back, throwing out that plasma and repulsing it as a fastball across the map. Single-handedly getting control on the map here for the Sentinels roster. If you recall, when Spartan had that camo, it was a 2v4 scenario. Somehow Sentinels got that camo, but because of those sick back-to-back plays, Sentinels in a strong position player, because I feel like you could slot in a really good player on any of these squads.
I bet you were stacked back in.
Since this round of oddball wins game number 1, since it was tied 1-1 going into it. Now, yeah, it looks like we'll also probably get this one reset again, as there's a minor tech issue there on the main stage. Literally just reading where players are going to come from and can do damage. Ended up getting 2 assists, I believe, possibly from the Insta. Flying that across the bottom center and set his team up to get those slays and deny that camo.
We tried that as a combination, you know, main slayer, you know, support player, and the Walshy player of the tournament, and it's who had the most instas.
Pretty much, yeah. I would be totally down for that. I'll start giving a cash prize for that end of each week. Don't quote me on it, but looking here at Spartan, see what he's gonna do, because now that he's on the bottom of the map, this is a spot where Quadrant can charge all the way across the top, avoid one member, and they essentially have a 4v2 because one player's holding the ball, one's on the bottom of the map, and you can use that number advantage to your advantage charging across. But it looks like did not work out well for Quadrant, as Sentinel still putting time up on the board until they play balled it over at back Hydra.
A 22-0 run by Sentinels, who already have a 12-second advantage going into this matchup to begin with. Sentinels still having the numbers advantage. Sentinels also rotating ball.
Look at that, reflecting the plasma shot, just doing everything. I feel like I'm watching Sparty's TikToks again. They're always over in my feed, and it's always about like, Commando is OP, or check out this triple kill I got. And I just feel like I'm watching those all over again, playing in my head as I see him just do the sickest repulses with those plasma grenades earlier in this, and then with that plasma burst.
Set up here for Sentinels. You have Sparty over towards the A side of King Nick, spread across the glass side, and look at the way they're able to help each other out despite being across the map, cleaning up those call-outs. Quadrant fall 3. One more player left who's being held back here while this happens. Sentinels continues to put points on the board. Remember, they only need 88.
Only need 88 to close this one out, but they're in such a strong position right now. Elevator's being taken though, so that's really good for SLG, but no! Insta kill for Spartan over at bottom elevator to keep that crucial position under his control.
These boys clearly know you casting over them. They must have peeked over the desk. You know, let's make Walshing proud real quick as we see another insta-explode coming in. Sentinels defenses will not be denied.
87-88, and that's gonna be it. Sentinels are gonna be your game number 1 winner.
Lethal makes a clutch play.
That's gonna be a tough one to beat them. Like I said, when I looked at this game mode and map combination across the board, 4 out of the 5 I felt are fairly snowballing. Like on something like Recharge Odd.
Oh, one shot there. Sparty now going to be left alone here over toward the tower side, and Quadrant now focusing on the teammates coming off the spawn.
This is interesting though. Quadrant kind of pushing all the way back through Garage, now realizing Overshield's coming up in 5 and now reverting back. Quadrant aren't going to have many angles on the SOAS. They're going to have sandbags, and they're going to have the cylinder itself. And look at this, 2 members of Quadrant fall. That's going to be 3 at the same time. If you're winning a clutch 50-49 here against Sentinels, what more do you want?
Yeah, I mean, the damage separated by just 200 apiece from everybody. It was a full team effort, and we got to take a look at these stats here. Sparty versus 2 Foxy, 50 kills out of Sparty so far, 48 out of 2 Foxy. The KD really close. I'm going to be watching out for this matchup the rest of the series. Early control here for Sentinels over toward this hill. We see multiple members of Quadrant now surrounded the hill. Sika over toward the C side, a couple over towards the A, and that's going to pull out just for a moment here. Reset things a little bit. Clear angle towards that hill, and it's dangerous. It's so annoying trying to hold the setup or trying to push in the setup when you're sitting over toward that stalker rifle spawn.
The only one left that has a chance of stopping it, and I feel like this is going to be a flag number 2 going in here for the Sentinels.
And not every kill shows up the way that's value on the kill feed.
As I said before, when the flag's on your half the map, if you trade kill for kill, your reinforcements are going to spawn close, and that's all 4 down for Quadrant. That's the 3rd flag going in for Sentinels.
3-1 lead coming out of Sentinels. 2 caps away, or 4 minutes and 38 seconds away from going to a game number 5. Sentinels will not go down easily. Sparty making the sidekick the main character in this story as he deals with 1, make that 3, goes for the curve slide into the pull down damage, staying alive, being that ratty type of player. Who does that remind me? I can't put my finger
I mean,
on
it's just music to my ears. Just sounds like the perfect play style in Halo here. But look at these continual fights there. When we're looking at Sentinels, when they are around the sides of the map, when they're over in the back of Quadrant space, they're just in these upper strong positions.
Do the same thing, and mind you, there's only 1:30 for Quadrant to put 2 on the board.
Minute 30, Sentinels know that Quadrant are going more on the offensive, and they now have to decide, do they want to put this into a flag stalemate and push a flag out, or do they just want to go back and go for the slaying game? Looks like Lethal decides to toss this one out, and in the event that they get more slays, they're going to run across. That's 3 down. SLG is the last one down. This is going to be the dagger. Sentinels going for their 4th cap. And interestingly enough, Sparty even just blocking Fridge, because guess what? If they're spawning all the way back in their base, they're not going to be able to easily get it over towards the Sentinels base, and they somehow need to acquire 3 captures in 60 seconds. I still think this one is still going to be a 4-1 victory.
Yeah, I love that by Quadrant, though. You know, they're not quitting. They obviously know they're going to lose this this game right here. We're going to a game number 5, but they're not just going to roll over. They are going to fight every last second, and every last second has been accumulated here. Sentinels are going to win that 4-1. And we are going to a game number 5. Those are my 2 favorite words. It's Pit, the remake Empyrean, game number 5, Slayer, winner takes all.
Not only is it winner takes all in the series, this is likely going to be for the second upper bracket slot here in Pool B. So this series cannot be understated. This can determine if you're going to upper bracket or lower bracket in the double limb. Zika has the overshield, trying to put some pressure. Collect going down with a heat wave, doing so much damage. That overshield has got to be gone and negated at this point. And Sentinels hold on to a 1-kill lead. Now, do they want to get aggressive and push this? Looks like Sparty's going to take an unorthodox angle like we talked about and bring the sniper all the way towards long haul.
Sparty, one of the most dangerous sniper rifles players in the game here. As Quadrant go forward down,
and look
now
at that.
Sentinel's an opportunity to punish them.
Yeah, look at that understanding the spawn system. 3 went down, then getting that 4th down, and Sparty says, all right, I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna leave the Mauler spawns open, and Spartan's over towards top turret. Or sorry, King Nick's towards top turret, and look at this. Look at this damage like we called out before. King Nick towards top turret. Nobody can push out easily through the Needler side or from Mauler all the way out towards the opposing side of the base. It's still a 10-0 shutout. If I was out of the game, this would be a mercy rule. You say, all right, game over, mercy rule, 10-0. Restart the next one.
Let me tell you, man, Quadrant must be getting coached by my cousin Owen. My cousin Owen 12 right now. My God. Somebody tell him the game started. Sparty and Sentinels are running house here and punishing them. Every single spawn has reticle trains on them.
But this is the danger of a map like Empyrean, the way it's designed. They were able to get that first sniper down. They had control of the entire map. So Sentinels finding that 1 win of opportunity, getting the slays, and turning that 3 or 4 kills into 14 kills. So masterfully played by them. They're also not fully overcommitted right here. Look at this play. They realize they still have bridge. They can just rotate back and forth. They know weapons and power-ups are gonna come up shortly, and they still, even though they gave up 1 kill and some members of Quadrant got out of the base.
So far here, but when he pops off 7-0 before finally getting his first death, even having an assist to go along with it, a large reason why Sentinels have a dominant double-digit lead as Sparty strips the overshield off of the dead bodies of Quadrant, uses it immediately to get the double kill. Now gonna look for the triple. He refused to be repulsed off the map. He's gonna play this side and eventually should find that kill. Right?
Not only just repulsed, but I think he was also just trying to avoid the melee. Eventually got a little fed up and said he's gonna charge on over. But what a great play there from Sparty to wait for the last moment to drop on that OS, get the kill, also snatch that OS so it doesn't fall off the map, and just patiently get kill after kill. He was in no rush. Decides to reposition the sniper over towards sword side. King Nick, where is his throne? I guess it's over towards top turret still, as this has been his home for this entire game.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you that at one point, this was a 2-1 series lead in favor of Quadrant, and this has been neck and neck, an absolute fight. But here in game number 5, it has been all Sentinels. Sparty is 9-1. King Nick is 11-2. This is bad. This is bad for Quadrant.
And that was actually interesting. Oh yeah, King Nick eventually got picked off there. I was gonna say, why would King Nick leave tower? But looks like as soon as they lost that top tower, that is Sentinel's note to say, all right, we no longer have the position at the opposing base that we want. Everyone can back up. Don't overforce and give up any free kills. And look at this, going for a montage clip. Sparty eventually taking control of the opposing base. Here comes the push here from Quadrant. 2 members get taken down by Spartan though.
But he even has the heat wave as well. Back-to-back kills for Sentinels. Quadrant go down.
50-31 victory. Squad was facing coming into this event.
Foxy just shows his real skill set. It shows that the way Quadrant play is the way that he wanted to play when he was on Na'Vi. He wants to play fast.
Sentinels looking pretty damn strong on the other side, going from strength to strength here. And Wes, you know, we have to talk about Spartan. Again, he's making plays for this roster. Talk to me about Recharge Our Ball. What did you notice?
Yeah, a lot of individual plays to get over the hump here. Maybe not the most dominant win that I kind of expected on the side of Sentinels on Oddball and throughout the series, honestly. This series went a little bit too long for my liking for Sentinels. Is really opportunity, but this is an incredible play using the repulse to get the stick onto the second player. Another one, it's a fastball. When you're able to process like that and make plays like that, you just create so much opportunity. But this is the thing. Without those plays, what's the score to the game, right? And unfortunately, you're not going to be able to continuously make plays like this, especially as you climb the bracket. So for Sentinels, they've still got to figure out a way to have a little bit more cohesive teamwork, a little bit better, efficient strategy, and we'll see how long they fare against some of the best teams in the world, because, I mean, obviously Quadrant, a very solid team, a lot of talent, but a sub on their roster coming into today. This is going to be one of the easier matches I think Sentinels play throughout this tournament.
Indeed, and as we look at the stats coming in from that series here, Gaskin, I think some of the big development questions for Sentinels is, have they developed just a little bit since their series versus Optic coming into this one against Quadrant? I know the score's a lot better, but in terms of the play style, the team, what kind of things kind of come across the board here?
Yeah, I think, a series against Optic is going to be a very different one. I don't think that Sentinels would expect to necessarily be matching Optic at this stage. It's a new team, it's a new roster that has to learn, that has to grow. I think they would have been a little bit worried about some of these results against Quadrant, especially considering how favorable the series was for them, how good they've been throughout qualifiers on a lot of these game types.